Hey fish friends, Zenzo with Tazawa Tanks, another video. It's been a while since I posted a video, so I thought I'd just do kind of an update of all of my tanks. Some of these tanks I haven't posted videos on before as they're new or I just haven't had them on camera. Was on vacation last week. We were in Hawaii and actually tried making a video there. There's these ponds at the resort that I was staying at that have African cichlids and Central American cichlids and koi all combined. And I took some video, but it wasn't great audio or video quality, so I just erased it. I did make a little clip for my phone on and posted it to Tank Talk for the group, but nothing that was YouTube quality. But anyway, starting off with the basement, which is my basement slash office and whatever. But this tank is a 60-gallon tank that I have full of yellow labs. I'm actually going to try and breed some yellow labs, so I know that I've got some males in this tank, some females. They have had some successful fry, and I do have a local fish store that has agreed to buy them from me when they grow out. So I'm going to let this kind of go for a while and see what I get as far as females holding, and I've got some other tanks where I can put them in to grow fry out and allow them to spit naturally, etc. So nothing really special about this tank. It's not a show tank. It's just a work tank here in the basement. I've got an Eheim auto feeder on it. Right now they're chowing down on some spirulina flakes. I've got a couple of just some inexpensive shop lights there with some LED bulbs, low energy. This tank is wrapped in bubble wrap on the sides and the back, and then it has some insulation on the bottom. And I do that for all the tanks down here just because I don't really care what they look like, and it helps with keeping the temperature up and reducing my energy footprint. So this is connected to a Fluval 406 canister filter, so that's the filtration. You can see the inlet and outlet there. I do have a couple of air stones just to have some water movement and get some surface agitation to allow for some gas exchange and oxygen, etc. Everything in there is faux except for that Dracaena plant that I threw in there. I know it's not a submerged plant, so don't kill me for that. It's supposed to be just, or not an emerged plant, but just submerged. But it was in my wife's office and it was like dry and dying, so I just threw it in there just to see if it would grow back. And so far it's been doing well. So we'll see. So anyway, that's the 60-gallon yellow lab breeding tank, I guess you can call it. Down below, nothing really fancy here. It's actually a critter tank that I turned into a little hospital tank. It's just it's a 7.5 gallon glass box. It's a critter tank. I've got a couple of nano heaters in there, and I have a beta in there. And the reason why is I've got a little bubbler that has a lava rock and some filter pad, but I wanted to have a tank always cycled in the event that I need a place to put fry or a hospital tank, etc., and then I can always remove the beta and put it in another container temporarily. So for now he gets to swim around and a decent amount of space for a beta, and if I need to I can remove him, put him in some smaller, I've got some smaller kind of nano like 2.5 gallon aquarium things that I can just throw him in if I need to for temporary. The next tank, these fish don't always come out. Oh, there is one. This is my hemichromis tank, jewel cichlids, and they're not full size yet. Not quite sure on sexing. I've read about the males have the dots that go all the way down the tail and the females don't, etc., or vice versa, whatever it is. But some of their tails were kind of beat up due to they were in a different tank, and so they're doing well and recovering and Not quite sure if that might be the male and then the other one's a female. So we'll see what what happens if they end up being a male and female. Hopefully, I'll get some fry and can breed them. If not, I'll trade them or sell them and do something different. So this is just a 20-gallon tank. Just aqua clear hang on the back filter with a bunch of sponge, natural sponge filter material inside. And then I've got a sponge pre-filter as well. And then I've got an air stone on there, again, for extra water agitation at the surface. So again, nothing in here is for aesthetics, just for hiding places. It's also bubble wrapped and insulated. The next tank below is a grow out tank slash quarantine tank, hospital tank, grow out tank, whatever. Here I have a couple of my African cichlids, and the one on the left, the larger one, was colored up really beautifully, and then there was some fighting and some aggression in the tank, and I noticed that he was getting kind of beat up and got a little bit of an infection. So I put him down here, treated it with some medications, and he's recovered, except that I think he may have lost vision in his left eye. The eye was badly glazed over and covered in, had like a fungal infection on it, and that all healed, but his eye did not. So I don't know if in the coming weeks and months if that eye is ever going to recover. The muscles still move, but I don't know if it has vision in that eye. I have noticed when I feed him that he doesn't do well when the food is on that side of his face. So sometimes he misses it initially and then comes back over and gets it with the good eye. So, or sees it and then gets it. Then on the other side I have another I think it's ruby red African. This one's a little on the juvenile side, and put him in here to kind of repair some fin damage and let him grow out a little bit as well. So in the coming weeks, as these two fully recover, this one may not with the eye, I will put them back in the main tank once I've got some once I see that they're fully healed and all the fins have grown back, etc. That little sock thing on top of that pot is actually it's a nylon. It's one of my wife's nylons I took from her, cut it apart, and put some aragonite in it, so that helps with buffering. Got a little heater in there, obviously, and then a big sponge filter. Sponge filter's rated for like a 70-gallon tank or something. But anyway, I've got one of those. I think it's the Aqua Solutions sponge filter that's owned by Hikari. In here, similar situation. The one on the left is actually a Sunshine, and that one is juvenile as well. Was colored up really nicely, and was really holding its own in the tank, and was eating and wouldn't really take any mess and would fight back. So a lot of spunk in this one. But I did notice that some of his fins and his tail were getting kind of nipped up by some of the larger fish in that tank. So I brought him down here to kind of let him recover and grow out a little bit. And so again, in a few weeks, I'll put him back up top, along with this one. So this guy, and you may notice that I have these labels on here. That's really for the kids to know how to feed the fish when I'm not home. So obviously it's not updated because I don't have the Sunshine in there, but these are temporary tanks, so don't kill me for the size of the tanks, and it's not permanent, but it's just while they recover. But this guy, a lot of personality. It's probably one of my favorite fish. He or she will eat out of my hands and fingers if I put pellets in there. This is an albino peacock. It looks like it might have a little bit of like some dragon blood in them, as he's got some. He or she has some of the characteristic kind of orange spots on the finnage. But this fish was really, really in bad shape. Was hiding in the main tank, had gotten beaten up pretty badly, and brought the fish down here and let it recover, and it's recovered almost completely. You can see the fin there on top is still got a little bit of a divot in it, but that thing was completely like it was, you know, almost down to the body of the fish. So he's growing back quite a bit, and you can see his tail finishes growing back. So again, once I see that you know, this fish is totally recovered, I will also put it in the main tank. So those are some tanks. In this tank here, this is a fish only marine tank. It's currently cycling, so I do fishless cycle, and this is also a 20, so it'll be like a nano saltwater tank. Probably just do like a pair of clowns and maybe some invertebrate or something, but not really going to do anything high tech. Just wanted to have a marine tank in my collection. So here, aragonite substrate. I've got some dry rock in there. I actually have some pieces of coral from Hawaii, actually, that was collected, and just a couple small pieces there just to kind of have something. But this tank is cycling, so ammonia has dropped down to 0. Nitrites are starting to drop, but they are still pretty high, and then nitrates are you know, off the chart, peaking. So as the nitrites decrease, and then I'll start working on doing some water changes and getting some fish in here. But so this one's been cycling for a few weeks, so it's almost done. And again, I do a fishless cycle, just pieces of you know, start off with like a little piece of shrimp and some food, and got the ammonia built up. So that's it for the 6 tanks down here in the basement slash fish room. Just the normal kind of concrete block stands. Got a couple air pumps there for filtration for the some of the tanks, and then of course the canister for the 60 there with the Africans. Over here, just I also have a fish business on the side for maintenance on fish tanks. These are all my buckets. You can see that I clearly mark them as fish only, so no one tries to do anything else with these. And then my bucket of supplies and cleaner, and the suitcase is actually, it's kind of funny, but it's a suitcase full of cleaning stuff. Oh, that's pretty awkward, but here I've got water changers and pond pumps and clamps and tools and supplies and things like that for doing jobs. I actually had a big job yesterday that took me a couple hours. So anyway, that's it for the fish room. The next section will be going upstairs and looking at the display tanks. Okay, now I am in my daughter's room, and this is her tank. This was a tank that she actually asked that I build for her a year ago for her birthday. And her request is she wanted a cave tank. She wanted a tank that looked like caves, and she wanted to have her burstone in there. So what I did is I created a foam wall in the back, covered it in concrete and sealed it all, made some stalagmites and stalactites. Here you can see there's some, they're actually silicone to the base of the tank. And it kind of gives it a cave-like feel, along with some real amethyst pieces that I ordered, and some real ones that I purchased and put them in the tank. So, and then added, she wanted some of these Japanese Marimo moss balls, and got a piece of driftwood in there with some Anubias growing and some Java fern. The fish are all guppies. So, geez, I don't know, there's 25 or 30 guppy fry in this tank. I did have some adults in there, obviously, and then the adults, they passed on, actually, so just left with all the fry. After the fry were born, they stopped eating, and but the fry have been in here for quite a while, and they're doing very well, and feeding them frequently small amounts of food. So this is her tank, and as the fry grow out, then I'll have to put them in some of the other tanks that I have downstairs. But anyway, she enjoys it. It's you know, nice decor, and she likes the guppy babies, and she likes guppies as well. Okay, this next tank is my shell dweller tank. I've got Multifasciatus lampropelagus, or Shelleys, or Multis, or whatever you want to call them. I just call this my Shelley tank or multi tank. But I have in here, I've got 9 adult Shelleys. I had 10 originally, but one of them had a growth in its head and didn't make it. But this colony I've had for a couple of months now, and they're all doing very well. You can see in my other videos I did an unboxing, etc. These came from Geiler Aquatics up in Washington State. But I actually was, the other day, my daughter was sitting in front of this tank and she said, "Dad, there's babies in here." And I hadn't noticed any fry, and then she patiently showed me where they were. So very pleased to see that in such a short period of time that these fish have spawned and that there are some fry in here. So they're still very small, they're hard to find, so I'm not sure if they're going to show up on the video here. Oh, I see some. I don't know if you're able to see it there on the left. Darting in and out of those snail shells underneath that fish on the left. There are some there. And there are also some back in this area. I've seen them darting in and out over here. So, of course, now that I have the camera, they, are not going to come out, of course. But actually, I thought I just saw some movement of one. But anyway, very excited to have fry of these Shelleys, and actually, there's one right there in that shell there on the left on the bottom. There's 2. Super cool. Anyway, I've got some friends in my fish club that are got dibs on the fry when they grow out, so we'll check back in a few weeks and see how they do. And I do have some tanks, as you saw in the basement, that I can set up for Shelleys. So anyway, that is this tank, and on to the next. Okay, this is what I like to call the Zen tank. It's a 5-gallon marine land with a built-in filtration system. And in here is just one male beta. As you can see, there's also a nearite snail in there. And I don't know if you're going to be able to see it. There it is in the back corner there. I have found that nearite snails, and I've got some in the Shelley tank too, they do really well with cleaning algae. In this tank there was a lot of algae built up on the stem of the plant and all over the Buddha statue and on the back wall. Obviously, when I would clean the tank, which I do weekly, but I would scrape the glass, but wasn't scraping the plant, etc. And I put a nearite snail in there and cleaned all of the algae off of every surface. So they do a great job in this tank, or this one does, and they do a great job in the shell dweller tank as well. So anyway, again, this is just a 5-gallon tank for a lone male beta. Filtration's built in, heater and everything's built in. And this plant actually has a huge root structure that covers the entire bottom of the tank and covered in substrate. But this is a Dracaena plant. People often call them bamboo. They're not bamboo, as I'm sure most of you know. That's just the look that they give off. But they're actually a Dracaena plant. And this one grows out of the tank. You can't really see because I have the lights off in here. But very healthy. I've had this plant for, I don't know, 2 or 3 or 4 years. And it's done very well. So, all right, well, that's the Zen tank, and on to the next. Okay, this is my planted tank. I call it my South American tank, or South American planted tank. And mainly because of the fish species that I keep in this tank are all South American, or I'm not quite sure where those apistos are from. I think they're South American as well, but all New World fish. And in here, this is a dirt substrate tank, which I've talked about in other videos, so I won't go into detail there. Low tech, 3 different three different light systems on here on timers, and then I've got a couple dozen wild-caught cardinals. I've got a school of rummy-nosed tetra. I've got about 9 corridoras in there, 2 different species, and I have a pair of apistogramma, the orange flash apistos. I just got those recently. I also have 4 angelfish in here at various sizes. So you can see that's one of the larger ones there, the black one. It's this marbled one here is a medium-sized juvenile. The koi pattern one is obviously juveniles. It's much smaller. And here in the back, this is my newest one of the 4, and also the largest, and just beautiful. This one's kind of a picky eater though. All of the other angels will eat omega-1 flake food and freeze-dried bloodworms. Even the apistos have taken to the dried food, but this guy only wants bloodworms that are frozen. I'm sure if I put live food in there, he would take live food as well, but is not taking any dry food. So that's fine, I don't mind. I don't mind putting good food in there for the fish, and all the other fish get the benefit as well. But anyway, that's the just a quick little clip of the planted South American. On to the next one. Okay, last but not least is the South American. My African cichlid tank. This is a 75-gallon tank with peacocks, haps, and mbuna. I know all about people having problems with keeping those mixed species, and I've had some trial and error as well as the type of mbuna that I've kept in here. But this mix seems to be doing very well. Obviously, yellow labs and ACI are on the more docile side of mbuna. Of course, the Aratus are not, but they're smaller than the other fish, and they don't really have issues with the other fish, just they fight amongst themselves. But anyway, this tank, I've made videos of it in the past. The background is a background that I made, so that's a DIY background. It has caves and things like that. So it has a lot of hiding places. I do have 2 Synodontis catfish in this tank as well. They usually hide in the caves and will come out in the evening to feed once the lights turn off. Everything's on timers. All of my tanks are on timers. All 11 tanks are on timers as far as the lights are concerned, so I never have to turn lights on and off. I do have a couple auto feeders on here as well, and I use that for when I'm traveling, or just to make sure that they're getting fed on a frequent basis. I've found that even though fish are fine and not eating for a few days, if you're out of town or whatever, that I seem to have a lot less aggression, and I don't have as much attrition and death when they are fed on a continual basis. So, but anyway, this tank, you've seen this tank before. Probably the biggest update on this tank is filtration. So I've made some upgrades in the past couple of weeks to the filtration. So previously I had a Marineland 350 hang on the back as one form of filtration, and my overflow and wet dry sump with refugium as more of the main filtration. And then as far as water movement, I had a power head in there that was behind the rock wall that was blowing through one of the holes and kind of increasing the circulation of water movement. Since my last video, I added a wave maker pointing at the surface, so it's just increasing surface agitation. I wasn't too worried about oxygen with the wet dry and other filtration that I had in the water movement, but the more the better. It does help to kind of push the debris around as well, so it gets sucked up in the filters. And then also it really helps when I put the auto feeders in to help get the food dispersed amongst throughout the tank. So, but the other thing that I did is I added a canister filter. So recently I picked up the 60-gallon downstairs that you saw. And it came with 2 canister filters and a bunch of equipment, and so I added one of the canisters of this system. So I added a Fluval 406. Well, you're not going to be able to see that at all, but it's back there, and all the plumbing's up top. But so now I've got quite a bit of filtration. I have the wet-dry sump, and I actually upgraded the sump as well. I upgraded the overflow, added a larger diameter tube, so I have more flow through there. I've got both of the 300 gallon per hour pumps cranked up to full notch with the valves all the way open. Now I know that there's head loss due to the pressure of having to push the water back in. Since those are both rated at combined 600 gallons per hour. With head loss, they're probably closer to like 400 gallons per hour or so. And then, of course, the hang on the back is rated at 350 gallons per hour, and the canister is rated at 383, I think, gallons per hour. So, between the hang on the back and the canister and the wet dry at full, at full capacity now that I added a larger diameter overflow, I'm easily pushing 1,200 gallons per hour between all 3 if I'm being conservative on the head loss. So I'm very happy about that. I did add some Purigen in the canister filter, which, as I'm sure all of you know, really helps in kind of creating clearer water. I do feed them New Life Spectrum as part of their diet, not their sole source, but part of their diet. And that food has a tendency to have a lot of waste, a lot of red poop, etc. But very happy with the filtration system that I have and the amount of water movement. So really not an issue. Oh, you can see the Cichlids there just came out and went right back in the hole there. But these caves are kind of deep, and even the large ACI, which is probably 7 inches long, can go back there and be completely hidden in those caves. So there's a lot of space. So yellow labs, really beautiful. My ACIs, I have 3 of them in here. My red shoulder, juvenile red shoulder, orange. I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank here. There's my hap, my OB hap. I love this guy, beautiful, and really, really happy. Dragon's blood, that's what I was trying to say. It's an orange dragon's blood. My 2 Aratus over here. Got some more fish that are shy and hiding in caves. There's a bunch of yellow labs. There's an OB peacock. I do have a very large OB peacock that's beautiful, and it's the tank boss. And he kind of occupies this area down in there. But he's camera shy apparently, and well fed, so not coming out. But no one really messes with him. He really occupies that corner. And you can see in one of my other videos him fighting with one of the fish and just establishing dominance. So anyway, that's this tank. I'll just go real quick into the sump so you can see. This is a 20-gallon tank. It's about 50% full. You can't really see it down here, I'm sorry, but that's the wet-dry system. And it flows down, the heater's down there, flows up and over into like my little refugium that I made, and then back up and over, and then it pumps back into the tank. And then I do have a pothos or pothos plant down here, so another way of adding some filtration to suck up the nitrates, etc. So anyway, thanks for watching. This is a long video, so hopefully you guys made it through to the very end. And I will try to make videos more frequently. Thanks for watching. Thanks, fish friends. Take care.